I talked yesterday about the measuring resilience in 4 countries, 5 countries that we're working in. I was trying to kind of give people an overview of where we are right now in the research. Um, but I first needed to set it up by talking about a framework, how we define resilience, how we actually measure it, before we could actually get into the nitty gritty about the actual findings coming out of Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Um, what I think was good was that a lot of the people had been thinking about resilience, but they didn't really know how to measure it. And I think some of the findings that were coming out were consistent with some of the capacity building, community focused work that they were doing as well. So I had a lot of people come up to me afterwards and say that they hadn't really thought about measuring things this way, and so they actually found it very useful to take back to their own work. And that's what you always hope for when you do one of these presentations, that they actually will take it forward. I think we were uniquely set with USAID providing the resources to do all these impact evaluations. And so the fact that we've got quite a bit of data now from Ethiopia, quite a bit of data from Kenya, quite a bit of data from West Africa, we're starting to be able to do these meta-analysis on different kinds of factors that are important, like social capital, psychosocial factors that influence resilience, importance of livelihood diversity, and why that's important to understand the context that you're in as to whether or not it's going to work in terms of managing risk. And also the fact that the focus on the 3 absorptive, adaptive, and transformative capacities actually did make a difference in helping people manage shocks and stresses in all those locations. So that was good verification that we actually, our theoretical construct was actually working. I think that the questions that came afterwards were pretty exciting stuff. They were asking about kind of institutional issues versus household issues, and how do you actually change systems in a way that will allow for a lot of this stuff to be sustained. And I think that's the right focus. I think the enabling conditions are the stuff that takes the longest to change, whether you're talking about healthcare systems or market systems or political systems. And so, and I think that the people in the room, because they're so focused on community approaches, participatory approaches, they resonated to them about social cohesion and how community cohesion is going to make a difference for allowing any of their interventions to actually work. So this gave them another idea about how to actually measure whether their community cohesion was actually improving or not. So I think that was helpful. What's going to be interesting in the next recurrent session that I'm about to engage in is to kind of do a deeper dive into social capital and actually look at that a little bit more carefully. What was interesting is Will Story, who's the guy that I'm presenting with, we had never met each other, but we kind of came to the same conclusions on social capital from completely different angles. So it's been interesting to see that convergence. And he was looking at how social capital affects child nutrition, and we were looking at how social capital affects resilience. And so the fact that we were finding consistent findings with regards to wealth, with regards to, we were focused on food security, he was focused on nutrition, but a lot of the same factors were showing up on his work in India and his work in Bangladesh and our work in Ethiopia. So that was a nice convergence to see.